really excited. It's been an interesting week. This should be an interesting meeting. I am incredibly fired up. It's funny. A couple days ago, I was tossing and turning, and I usually sleep incredibly well. And I pride myself on my ability to sleep well. I don't stress. I don't have a lot of anxiety. I just in my life, I sleep pretty well. And a couple nights ago, I did not sleep well. I was like, God, you toss and turn. What's going on? And I said, and last night I was like, we were talking about it, and I'm like, we're at a new phase. And I know how to be aggressive and committed and focused and stand up. Like, I know how to jump in someone's shit, right? And I know how to pull greatness out, really get after something. But I don't know how to do it in Access, right? We got to be positive and helpful, but at the same time, we got to jump on some shit every once in a while. And I'm like, it's an interesting, because how many of you let yourself off the hook? Okay, some of you do it so much you couldn't raise your hand, right? It's just this normal thing, right? Part of what we've got to do, the reason why our organization, our business, this works is we have a collaborative relationship, right? We've chewed some of the same dirt. We know some of the things, but we get in our own way at the same time. And so it's that balancing act of where do we go? So it's interesting because today's going to be a little bit of that. I just started a little bit, right? And I was working with Elvira and Shag, and they're going to take their test again and do all this stuff. And I'm like, and they frustrated the hell out of me in a really positive way. I'm like, wait a second here. Like, we need to ratchet up our standards a little bit as to what it's, but that's an interesting balancing act, because in my old business, it was all high standards, all aggressive, all versus, right? We want to create a space for the greatest part-time opportunity in the history of the world. But if we're going to put in time, then the time we put in, we should figure out so there's some fun things. So I'm excited. All right. So a bunch of stuff we're going to go through today. Couple announcements. Anyone here for the first time, or it's been a long time, so welcome back, guys. First time, I think. This is Victor. Everyone, hi, this is Victor. This is Indira. Hi, this is Indira. Did anybody pass their test this week? What's up, Mr. David? So very excited. Be here Wednesday night because we have shirts, right? So the player shirts are made. They got player on the side. Really excited. Dude, you guys want to check out our hats? You got a variety of different hats. Really turn out really nice. Gray hat. We got a nice maroon hat. We got some, got the hat beat up, right? So, and I don't know. This is my favorite hat. I love this hat.
The first one was different, right? The first one.
This one's a kid's hat, or someone with a really small head.
Yeah.
Like this is a small melon hat, right? Like Ty wears it, right? But Brett's head's too big. But there might be some, it might not fit on David, right?
What's your hat size? What's your trying to say?
Huh?
What's your hat size?
I don't know.
What's the difference between that one and the others?
Well, I'll pass them around, but these have been beat to hell, right? So they're different things. And I don't know what we're doing with the hats, but you all can get them and try them on and stuff like that. We're working out the cost. And if anyone wants to order one, we've got them, right? Those aren't going to be earned ones. We're just going to have hats and stuff like that. They're going to be about $17 or $18 by the time things are good. And we're going to be $20. We found a new person, so I'm excited about that. So we're going to get, and you don't have to have a hat, but I like hats. So I made sure that, right? But you can try, they're all different. And then there's the chick hat that I did not bring. But there's like the army boot hat that I showed last week. So if anyone wants one, let me know, and we'll get that ordered. So shirt's done, that's done. Okay, we're gonna start doing sign-ins with that. So we've got that going on. We're gonna have a very I'm really excited about today. And where we are and what's going on. There are two things that we're going to work to get accomplished today, specifically. So one of the things we're going to continue and revisit yesterday's conversation, or last week's conversation. So what I would like to do, again, is for those of you guys that were here last week, if you could get back into your groups, that would be very helpful, and your tables. And then whoever wasn't here, I'll figure out where I'm going to put you through that process. So, so, Adrian, why don't you jump back there with those gentlemen there? Jump. Yadira, why don't you jump back there, and Victor, why don't you jump up? Actually, Victor, why don't you jump over here? Don't you, Look. So put them on, they're comfortable too. That was the thing. Like about hats, they've got to be comfortable, right? So they fit a little bit differently. That one's more comfortable than that one.
Yeah, it seems lighter too.
Yeah.
Which one?
Okay, yeah.
But they fit differently, like they're little things and stuff like that. So I know it's silly, but so we got this. Wait till next week. I have something new, right? I'm so excited. Like every couple of weeks, I'll have something new as we're going through. Because I'm like, we're dialing all this stuff in. Over the next month, I was telling Stacey, this is going to convert one of these days, right? Sooner or later, this will convert to, we'll get business and stuff like that. So keeping other people in business stuff. It's so nice. But I'm excited. We dialed it in. We have our people now, which is a big part of, from a business standpoint. We've got our folks. We have really good people that we can work with to be able to do this. Okay, so now we are going to fly through and do the stuff we did last week. We're going to go as long as we can. Now, I want to get through this because we have something else that we absolutely want to do. But this is our number one priority. Now, here's the thing. I talked to a couple folks and I was like, how do we do it? And a couple folks, oh, I got it. Look, one of the things that we've got to figure out is the level of aggression and aggressiveness that we want to have to be able to put stuff behind us and to put stuff to bed, right? Like having this stuff down is a critical piece, but there is so much more that we want to talk about that we can't talk about until we get this stuff. Until we get this stuff down. Down. So now there's some folks that haven't learned this and or haven't seen this, so we're gonna fly through this again. So do me a favor, everybody. Here's the thing: fill out the first row. Fill out what you know. Okay, and if you're here for the first time or don't know, I think most of you guys know this stuff, but if not, okay, here I got this. Okay, so this is our line, right? And one of the things that we're gonna do is we are gonna get incredibly good at going where this is, okay? So, we've got someone at Dawn. What's the first one? Scout team. Wait.
Roster.
Damon. Adrian. Yadira. David.
Coach.
Took too long, man. I know it. That took too long. Sue. Okay.
I was the new one just added that.
Right? All last week, right? So listen, we've got this down. We've got to know this stuff. We've got our scout team. We've got our farm system. We've got our draft board. We've got our roster. We've got our players. We've got our starters. We've got our captains. We've got our coaches. And we've got our team owners. The goal is, in a very short period of time, to not hate that hesitation. And the reason is, I don't care about a hesitation, but what happens is, this is our organizational development. This chart, where this goes, tells us what to do. It absolutely is the best guidepost I've ever seen and we've ever had at being able to do this stuff, right? So we want to know this, right, and run through this. This is just effort. That's all this is. And so it allows us to go, okay, how long? We're going to, right? We got to, the reason, what we want to get through, check this out. Everyone look up. What's that say? T-Max says rookie camp. Okay, we want to get through this because I want to do the rookie camp. Damon deserves this. This is what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this with Damon today. I can't because we don't have enough people running this to the level that we need it. So, Damon, we're going to do this in front of everybody if we get through this stuff, right? Because we want folks that are going to go through. It's done. It's ridiculously good, built-in alignment. Well, guess what? We're going to have rookie camp, and then we're going to be doing this for our people that go through it, right? We're going to have an hour-and-a-half meeting on a Saturday, sitting in one of the rooms where different people are walking through this stuff so we can put this stuff to bed. I am so excited right now. Okay, so we've got our scout team. What action word is attributed to the scout team? What thing allows us to say, this is what we do with that group? So we cultivate. So you're on this level here. We'll give you more of this stuff. Right, Victor, this is new, so I'm going to throw a lot of the stuff at you. I want you to just kind of walk through the process and experience it. Darren knows most of it. This is new for you, so I've got some tools specifically for you, but I want you to hear where we're going to take this, okay? Right, so we're going to cultivate. You have a memory that can dial this stuff in. That's way more important, okay? You'll absorb this, and then we'll get you the growth stuff, okay? I'll give you the work to do over the next week. Deal? Okay, so what do we do with our scout team is we're going to cultivate those relationships. We're going to move them through. Wade, you had an amazing relationship conversation with someone who was on your scout team yesterday, right? Right? It created a conversation. He didn't get a referral. He didn't get a recruit. He developed and strengthened a relationship. He's cultivating the picture that this person has about what's going on in your life and in your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Is that basically a good?
It's exactly what happened. Planted the seeds, pulled some weeds, did a little bit of everything. Yeah, cultivated it.
That's what we do with our scout team. Okay? Now, Wade's beyond what it is. He's moving into what it means and how it works. We had a good conversation yesterday. It was a lot of fun for Wade, for me. It was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it was fun for Wade. But Wade knew to call me and say, okay, I'm getting ready to go in and have this conversation. He's on my scout team. We've already decided he's on a path. So here was Wade's conversation. I'm going to go meet with this guy. He's on my scout team. He's already on a path. What do you think the conversation is? That was a phenomenal. So I'm like, hey, I already know these three things. He knows these three things, and we can move. Here's this conversation. Does that make sense? That's what we want to be able to do. What do we do with our farm system? We work our farm system. 90+% of your time is developing your market. That's working your farm system. Right? We want to be able to know that this goes. Why? Because working sometimes sucks. True? Guess what? Looking at your list and writing it out and doing all that sometimes sucks. Every once in a while, we always want people to think it's fun and exciting. Guess what? Working's not always fun and exciting, isn't it? Right? The reason that this is where we grind it out. Right? Is this making sense? Right? So what do we do with so then we've got our draft board. What do we do with our draft board? We develop our draft board. Why? Because there's something stopping them, and the connection, the ability to feel heard, the ability to connect is critical. Okay? We get someone on our roster. What do we do with the people on our roster? Why do we support the people on our roster?
They're on our roster.
Correct. By definition, true. But why? But why is support such a critical word?
Because they're not ready to be coached yet. They're not ready to. They're just learning, and so we have to support them and create a space for them to learn and to be ready to learn.
What's the phrase? Now I'm going to take you to the next level here a little bit, right? Because we want to lock in and dial some of this stuff in. What's the phrase that we attribute with someone on the roster? That's the work that we do. But the phrase that they'll say is, I think, I might want to do this. When someone turns in their paperwork, they're like, man, I think I want to do this. That's what all of you said. I said it too. Now, we might have said it differently. Dude, I'm totally like going to do this, man. I totally think I can. Man, this is going to be awesome. But I got a question. Is this a strong sentence? I think I might want to. Is that a strong assertion? No. They're interested. They're curious. They're excited. What we do is we take them from I think to I know, I might to I do, need to want. We want the folks in our business to say, I know, I need to. Elvira's taken the life exam a handful of times. They know her name down there. Okay. That's not a fun experience. I'm proud of her. The only reason she's getting closer, I jumped on her a little, I jumped on you in there a little bit, right? Why? Because now all of a sudden, Elvira's like, no. I need to pass this damn test now. When Elvira's like, man, I need to pass this test now there's a strength behind those actions. My job is to support her to get to a point where I can have the, let's get real. I just kind of jumped on Jack a little bit. I'm like, really? Because Jack's going to walk around going, I got this, right? But there's a level of seriousness. My job is to support him until he gets to this place. Does that make sense? Because if I talk to you like I did 2 months ago, today, 2 months ago, now you're like, well, dude, he doesn't know me well enough. Does this make any sense? So what Wade says, you can't coach, but we're converting this sentence on our roster. What do we do with our players? Why? Indira, why?
Because they're past the point of thinking that they're going to do it. Now they know, and you need to tell them the next step.
You have to know what you're doing. You're a player, are you not?
Yes.
Are you learning this?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I expect you to know it until you've learned it? Isn't that a fascinating distinction? How many of us walk into run around the world thinking we're supposed to know stuff that we've never been taught? And then we're like, oh, I should know this. The number of ego conversations that I've had, both given and received on, well, I know I should know this, but, and the answer is, how the hell could you know this? Right? You can't know the lineup. You've never done this before. Now, once you know it, you can know it. But it allows us, so we're going to instruct. What do we do with our starters? We drive our starters. Why? What does it mean to drive a starter? What does that mean? Isn't it, by the way, isn't this kind of fun for the folks that have been here? We're here last week and we're having this conversation. Now that we have an understanding of the words, isn't it fun to be able to ask the next phase of the question and go, oh God, I'm doing this because I want some of you learned it and you're like, I learned it, and you didn't realize that there's 9 layers to this thing, right? Don't get satisfied at the first one, right? We want to be able to work this thing all the way through, right? But why do we drive our starters? This is today. Why do we drive our starters? When you know what to do, does knowing what to do and getting you to do it, are they the same thing? Is knowing what to do and getting you to do it the same thing? No. Will you let you off the hook? Will you let you off the hook? Will you let you off the hook? Yep. Will I let me off the hook? Yeah. You know what you do with your starters? It's an introduction of, okay, you now know what to do. We now have to create a forum for you to do it because it's in alignment with what it is you want to get accomplished. My job as a starter is to remind, right, our players that are transitioning as starters, hey, there's some things you want to get accomplished. You want to pass this test, we've got to do these actions. Does this make sense? Right? Some of you are like, I'm not sure if that fits. It'll keep building. You'll get it. What do we do with our captains? Why do we coach our captains? They understand what they're doing. They're one step away from RVP, and now they have to be able to go. They've got to be able to do their own stuff. They've got to be able to work with the people on their team, and they've got to be able to work with the people. The captain is working with starters, players, rosters, draft board, farm system, and scout team. Okay, they're doing a lot of the same things, but do they have any idea how to work with all of these different groups at the same time? No. This is where leverage and expertise comes in, where it's okay, here, during this period of time, do this, during this period of time, do this, during this period of time, do this, because there's an expert that's in place.
And isn't there there's another piece too, is that at that point when someone is a captain, they're doing things correctly or not doing things correctly doesn't just impact them, it starts to impact the rest of the team. So there's a higher level of responsibility, so that there's a higher level of, like, we gotta make sure we're coaching these people correctly and aggressively, because if they're doing it wrong, they're not just hurting themselves, they're hurting the rest of the team.
Yep. And we know this because the role of, and I'm going to jump 3 steps out, so David Camacho is going to answer this. The role of a captain. Oh, we didn't get to that, did we? We stopped at rookie. We stopped at roster. We didn't get to that. Yeah, we did. It's good though. Okay, so we coach our captain, but when you see when we get to the next piece, you'll understand. Remember what Wade just said. It'll make sense what I just said. Right there. What do you do with our then we got our coaches. Who are our coaches? RVPs. What do you do with your coaches? Play. Man, I want to kick Adrian's butt. Man, his base shop beat our base shop 3 times last year. Drove me crazy. Drove me crazy. I didn't want him to do worse. I wanted to know we were trying, we were playing. But man, how fun will it be when Sue's got her team and Adrian's got his team and we've got 2, we got 9 RVPs, right? And we're able to compete. We're able to play. We start at the beginning of the month and say, hey, how many lives are we going to touch? And how many people are going to grow? And there's an opportunity to play, right? That's fun.
Yep.
There's an opportunity to feel like, man, today matters. The only problem without playing is today doesn't matter. The reality is today matters. We need to find, there's only 2 ways I figured out to figure out that today matters. 1, scare you to death. What if Mandy's doesn't have the proper coverage and dies? And you're standing at the funeral with their family and they're losing their house because they didn't have the right program and they thought they did. Well, that makes today matter. But walking through life thinking about that sucks. Walking through life making people think about that sucks even worse. Now, it's true, so we need to be able to have that, but that's not a way I want to spend my days. You know the way I want to spend my days? Zamora kicked our ass 2 months ago. Are you going to let that happen? I don't want to let that happen. Well, how do you do it? And then they just helped a couple more people. Well, shit, who care are the 3 people that we can? Man, let me call my bullpen because I'm not going to let Zamora beat us. And if there's anyone that's going to beat me, I want it to be Adrian. I want it to be Sue. We want to have that. We want to have enemies. We'll have hardcore enemies outside the world, but you know how fun it is? You want to know why the Seattle Seahawks are as good as the Seattle Seahawks are? Right? It's because Pete Carroll said no one in this team has a starting job. From week to week, we don't have any starters. You earn your starting job during the week of practice. Which means if a rookie comes up and has a better week of practice and kicks Richard Sherman's tail in practice, the rookie started. And when you attack practice like you're fighting for your life, you get really hard really fast. They're fun, they're friends, they're life, but they thrive on the competition because it drives them all to get better. That's an opportunity to play. Does that make sense? No, I'm not saying we're ever going to get that hardcore or want to get that hardcore, but it's fun to be able to play. Man, I want to get to a place where we can have our RVP team excited about someone else kicking some tail. It's one of the pillars that we've got is that we celebrate other people's successes. Well, the problem is if Adrian's doing something magical or Sue's doing something magical that I don't think I can do, then when Sue does well, it's a threat because I don't know how she's doing. But if Sue and her team are running the lineup, if she's got 8 people showing up April 1st ready to make bullpen calls and I've got 3, who's going to win? Sue. Oh, God, I suck. I can never get her. No, I just got to go get 9. Now, Sue's like, well, I ain't going to let you beat me. I'm going to go get 13. Great. But could I close that gap if I was motivated? Yes. Yes.
Well, and that's the epitome of what, what Jim Rome talks about is that if you're both doing the same thing, even if your skills are better, you do it 10 times to get 3, and even if my skills suck, I just have to do it 100 times and I'll get 4 or whatever. It doesn't. If we're all doing the same thing, it doesn't matter. You can beat somebody that's more talented than we're doing.
Which is why we can play with our coaches. And then our team owners, what are we going to do? We're going to expand. We're going to talk about growth. I am an entrepreneur. I train and develop entrepreneurs. That's what I do. That's what I spend my day doing. That's what I think about. That's what I talk about. And that's what I'm going to be teaching all of you to get really, really, really good at. Right? That was our conversation. Wait, was it a fun conversation? Right? It opens up. There's an expansion. There's a shift in what you think your day is. Right? The lady that now does our embroidery. Her name is Linda. You guys will all meet her. Right? She goes in and she was talking and she started her husband passed away a year ago and she's a single woman and she's like, and she has a business and she goes, I felt a little unsafe. And so she looked in and she found she sells stun guns now. Right? She sells stun guns and pepper spray. Like there's this company in Idaho, these 2 women started, and it's stun guns and pepper spray for women, right? They've got like these little running gloves and there's like a pepper spray thing in the hand. Right, so you could run, like women could run, I guess guys could too, but they could run, and then if something happens, they've got pepper spray right there, right? It's this great idea, right? And so, but it's a multi-level company. And she's like, I can't do parties. She's been in business 40 years, she's like, I just can't do parties. I'm not recruiting her to Primerica yet, I am, but my conversation was, and it was funny, because Stacey was there, and we're going through it, I'm like, well, you understand, and I broke down, I go, look, you've been in business. Here's what I do is I cultivate to market, get together the 40 most important people in your life and go tell them the story. And I'm doing our conversation. I'm mentoring this woman who's 20 years older than I am on how to run. She's been in business 40 years as a sole proprietor, but I know how to grow a company. Right? We ended up having all of these conversations. She's like, my God, we need to get together. I'm like, of course we need to get together. She's on a path that she thinks is going to work. But does this make sense? She's still going to be a strategic partner. We're going to talk about expansion with our owners. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because even if that lady uses the things that you teach her to improve her business and she goes and sells 1 million stun guns and does great, that doesn't hurt you. It makes her more of a strategic partner for you. She doesn't have to do Primerica. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's her success makes you stronger. Your success makes her stronger.
Yep. Does this make sense?
No.
This is what we're doing. So, did I not do this right? Doggone it. No, I did. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I should figure out how to do this faster. So, we'll go through this. All right, so we can go to the very bottom of this one. Do the top line, the very bottom one. Take a second, fill out everything that you know. That's just an easier way to do it. So we go scout team, farm system, draft board, roster, player, starter, captain, coach, team owner. Don, my favorite, and he starts at the top and he's like, man, I'm doing the whole page. Practice is practice is practice is practice is practice. Okay, so our farm system is made up of 3 key components. What is the first of the 3 key components? Your bullpen. Second one, your now list. Next one. Okay, your now list is made up of 2 major sections. Cindy, what are they?
The now list,
Uh-huh.
hot and warm.
Don, your then list is made up of 2 major sections.
Is your lukewarm and frozen?
Okay, we want to have this down. The reason is this is everyone in your life. There's literally not anyone in your world that does not fit here. Anyone that you have in your world now, and anyone you're going to have in your world ever. Who am I going to see? This is what we were. The frozen are, right? And we went through this, but we'll go through. Think about this. If this is lasagna and that's a meatloaf, and it's wrapped in aluminum foil. Now, we've all eaten lasagna, right? Most of us eating a meatloaf. Tastes very different. But they look about the same if you wrap them in foil and freeze them for a year. If you take the foil, if you take the thing out, and I hit you on the head with it, would you be able to tell the difference between the meatloaf and the lasagna that's been frozen for a year? No. The only thing we know is they're both going to hurt. Right? Now, when you thaw them out, the meatloaf is never going to become a lasagna. And the lasagna is not going to become a meatloaf. You have a relationship. They're either hot, warm, or lukewarm, and they're in a deep freeze. We run the frozen workflow. It takes about 4.5 months to run it right. You will go on a coffee that we'll call an assessment coffee. You're not going to recruit them. You're going in to figure out, is it meatloaf, steak, or lasagna? You're going to walk out. We've all done it. We've all met people that we haven't seen in 6 months or a year or 5 years. You go to coffee, grab a beer, do whatever. You run into them, and you visit, and it's as though no time's ever passed. Ever had that experience? That would be your hot. There's going to be something you reconnect with, and you're like, wow, that was kind of fun. I'll see you every couple months. That would be warm. And there's some that are like, oh, I remember why we didn't talk. They're going to be lukewarm. Right or right? Right? So we said, look, but now all of a sudden, so how many of you have a minimum of 25 to 50 people you have not talked to in the last 6 months to 6 years that are just there, that might be somewhere here, here, here? Yeah. Everyone has them. What good are they in your Primerica business right now? They're useless. Because the mistake that anybody makes, the other Primerica, what people do, is if you accidentally run into that guy or gal, right, and you walk out of a meeting like this and you accidentally run into that guy, you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in like 12 years, man, we totally got together, I'm doing Primerica, and now all of a sudden my number one goal is to recruit on, not cultivate and develop the relationship. Lukewarm, these are people in your world. Look, there's going to come a point that our hots, our warms, and our frozens are dialed in. Maybe it's 6 months from now. Maybe it's a year from now. But Yadira, you've got 2 kids. That means they've got school, they've got karate, they've got sports, they've got... Don't you have an influx of parents every quarter? You have an influx of a lukewarm market built every single quarter. Well, when we get our now list dialed in and our frozens dialed in, wouldn't we be able to add 3 to 6 of the 25 new relationships? Couldn't we cultivate 3 to 6 new, plug them into the lukewarm, and build them up the process? But we don't do that if, 1, these aren't dialed in, and 2, we don't know why we're doing it. So in the last year, how many of those relationships have you cultivated? Very many? No, because there's no space to. Well, if we don't know what we're doing, if we don't start working our lineup and knowing what's going on in our farm system, there's no space for it because we're thinking about the people that we should have seen a year ago and we still haven't seen them, so there's no room for the new people. Is this making sense? Okay. So, what word is associated with hot?
Yes.
David, what word is associated with warm? This is a critical thing, is it not? My friend David is very, very excited and proud of him. Because, Brett, I've got 2 bullpen. Okay, so the bullpen's made, so here, let me go down and do this. So lukewarm, the word associated with lukewarm, Don, is?
Yes, no.
High. And oh, wow, for frozen. Now, what are the 2 parts of bullpen? What do they first say? Sue?
Yes.
Yes or sure? And then the second part. Damon? Yadira?
That's not the light and trust.
Wait,
Here.
they can hear you. They're going to say yes or sure, and they can hear you. How does this work? My friend David Camacho says, Brett, I've got 2 couples that are on my bullpen, but they're warm. They like me, they trust me, they value me, but their schedule is more important to them than I am. But when their schedule opens, they'll put me in. That's the difference between hot is I will rearrange my schedule or fit you in. Warm is I will when my schedule permits, you're the first person I'm going to slide in. Make sense? I go, well, this is a very critical distinction because if you're going to try to schedule an appointment with a bullpen warm, and if you do this, hey Gladys, I'm really excited. I want to share some things with you. Do you and Tony have time this weekend to meet? And they're warm, what are they going to say?
No.
They're going to go, sure, we can meet. But this weekend's not good. Because by definition, they have to do this. So now here's where the conversation goes. Oh, okay, how about like next week? Will next week work? Well, you know, the kids are really crazy and stuff like that, so next week's not really good either.
Working late.
I got a schedule. Oh, okay, how about the following weekend? Oh, please, baby, baby, please. Do you see what's happening to the dynamic of the relationship?
Yeah.
I'm now chasing them. They're in a power position. Plus, now all of a sudden, this becomes heavy. Wow, this person, what do you want from me? Because you obviously want something because you're making this about, like, you're pressing me for a time. Which now shifts the dynamics of the relationship. Part 1. Part 2, how does it feel when you hang up that phone? Do you feel great? No. Now imagine your 3 part-timers. Your spare timers, the ones that just got licensed, they're seeing their first people, they're just kind of getting things, they're going on 3 or 4 appointments a quarter. Are they inspired to call them? Because David had 2. Remember, he had 2. So he called the first one. If he gets that feedback, what's the likelihood of him calling the second one? It's not going to happen. So now all of a sudden, here's a whole nother family that doesn't even have a shot, plus David's focus is down, and if he doesn't come to a meeting, he's out for 3 weeks.